Live from the Dude Wipe Studios here at the South Point Hotel Casino. It's Gone Racing. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan. Brendan, the playoffs are underway now. We've got the playoffs, race one, and Chase Briscoe is already sitting back relaxing for the next couple of weeks. But great start to the playoffs this past week.
We've been talking about Chase. We talked last week. Chase Briscoe was the winner from Stewart Haas Racing, where they were not having a good season. Everybody knew what was happening already, and they won this race in a walk-off last year. Then we talked about how Martin Truex used to do here, and you and I have this theory of looking at Martin Truex stats and just transposing them over to Chase Briscoe. And tell you what, man, we actually look like we know what we're talking about. But how about the pit crew even last week? We bragged about Eric Jones. We said, but Legacy's just been lacking lately. But Eric Jones, they picked up a big win with the top 3 pick for Eric Jones. So heck of a race, heck of a playoff race to start. Some guys had some very bad days. Josh Berry.
Well, Josh Berry wrecked coming off turn 2 on the first lap of the race. I mean, and then Tyler Reddick. Now, you're talking about a guy that deserves credit. Ooh. Tyler Reddick gets doored on the first lap of the race.
Lap 1.
I'm thinking, well, Reddick's going to run 25th all day long. And he may have been the fastest car at the very end of the race.
Well, and he got stage points, and Tyler was there all day long. We had some comers and goers. For a while, it looked like a playoff race, right? I think it was like 9 of the top 10 were all playoff drivers for half the first stage. And then right after that, it kind of got a little chaos for the playoff guys, and it definitely got topsy-turvy.
Well, and one guy you got to bring up is Denny Hamlin. I mean, Denny Hamlin was clearly the best car in the field all day, and then he goes and has what happens in the playoffs? A bad pit stop. And he still works his way back up.
I wouldn't say best car all day. Chase Briscoe led 309 laps. So let's not say Denny Hamlin was the best car all day.
Well, I think Denny Hamlin had a really good car.
Denny Hamlin had a good car. But what happens with Denny in the playoffs? What have we always said look, this is Denny's career. And we have said this every year since we've had playoffs. What happens with Denny, whether it's him, his team?
Something happens.
They get a little tight.
Yeah, well, we talked about the odds. Now, first off, the Chase Briscoe's odds to win. You and I ridiculed those odds last week on the show. We're like, how on earth is he 16 to 1?
Neither of us bet him. We absolutely ridiculed it. We absolutely said that was the dumbest odd there. I even said I needed to go talk to Jimmy. Love you, Jimmy. To
Chris and
Vinny
and the guys,
and said we need to change that because he should not be 16 to 1. Hopefully somebody listened to us at the South Point and came and stuck us.
Well, I was going to say, I hope to goodness somebody went and bet Chase Briscoe. I also hope your buddies listened to us last week, by the way, which is why
the Moose did. The Moose listened.
Our favorite part of the show this week is going to be the final quarter of the show. So we will get back to that. But no, 16 to 1 for Chase Briscoe to win. Again, I do hope some people bet that.
So do I.
He certainly was deserving of getting some coinage on himself there. And his top 3 was a plus 350. He won his Group B.
Somebody got that.
Yes, a couple of us here, got that.
That's
one.
right.
In fact, by the way,
we didn't have the guts to pick him to win.
I just want to point out I got 4 out of 5.
You did.
Anyway, he won Group B. You're right. We did pick that at plus 275. And Toyota, he brought Toyota home at a plus 150. And talking about that top 10. Now, Tyler Reddick, second place, gave him the plus 225. Legacy Motor Club, Jimmy Johnson. Now, Jimmy, every now and then races, but we're really starting to see the ownership of Jimmy Johnson taking over that team.
Caldwell's, Jimmy, that whole group over there, they're starting to. We went through a little bit of that summer stretch. We were talking about it every week. Then they disappeared. They came back with a vengeance this week.
Well, it certainly did. Eric Jones, he got a 3rd place finish. We talked about the pit crew actually picked him. He was 17 to 1 for that top 3. And then his teammate, John Hunter Nemechek, also getting in there in 4th spot. AJ Allmendinger gets a 5th spot. And the guy who I think next to Chase Briscoe
should be the favorite for the championship, right?
I think Chase Briscoe is the favorite for the championship.
You give me top 2 right now on the championship.
Bubba Wallace and
Chase Briscoe.
And it's, I tell you something that struck me about Bubba too after the race was over. He finished 6th. Now, there was a point in time when Bubba finished in 6th, Bubba would have been mad, upset. He
was pretty upbeat.
He was upbeat, but I just see this freshness in Bubba right now. It's like, you know what? 6th is okay. I want to win. Don't get me wrong. I want to win.
He's understanding what it takes to win the championship
but
right
the championship is
Yep.
priority number one right now, and he's got himself in a really good position. And I do feel like every single racetrack that we are going to, Bubba is driving in that tunnel with confidence.
I 100% agree with you. And he looked great. He actually was looking better than his finish. He had that finish, but he was running really well. 5th and 7th in stages, led 10 laps. He was up front. He was looking strong. Great job for him. And we didn't even get to the rest of the top 10. Kyle Busch and Carson Hocevar. Two guys right there that needed good runs, right? I mean, Hocevar kind of disappeared for a little bit. Here he came back he pissed off a lot of people doing it, but he,
that's kind of,
it's kind of his style. Him and Ross, they like to do that. But Kyle Busch, an 8th place finish, he needed that too.
I also think it's become a little bit of an easy target for Hocevar. I mean, he races a guy hard and
they kind of go blah.
And I think I heard some podcast with Larry McReynolds or something, and he said, I can't believe it when somebody says they complain about a guy racing them hard. He says, you think Dale Earnhardt didn't race everybody hard, for crying out loud? And he was a 7-time champion, and everybody loved him. So, it's a race, right? Last time I checked, it's a race.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, and then our 10th spot, Chris Buescher. Solid run there, but
Chris solid.
Nothing exciting because Buescher actually has done better at Darlington. Our group winners, take a quick look at those. Denny Hamlin, shocking, and I by the way, it's one of the picks I had. Denny Hamlin, you don't normally finish 7th in the race and win Group A, but he was the long shot in Group A. He did finish 7th. Ryan Blaney was having a good run, and he got spun. Byron and Larson just were not that strong all day. So something with Larson's car kind of faded late in the race, knocked him down there. So anyway, Denny Hamlin wins with a 7th place finish in Group A. Group B, Chase Briscoe, obviously winning the race. You're going to win your group if you win the race. And he also was the long shot in that group. Group C, Bubba Wallace. I think you and I both picked Bubba
yes, we did.
This week. 6th place, but that was enough to win in Group C. It was a very, very rough week for Alex Bowman. Chastain had a decent run. Buescher, decent run. Group D, Carson Hocevar. I think that probably surprises everybody a little bit, but that 9th place run got him a Group D victory. And then our long shot in Group E, John Hunter Nemechek, finished 4th in the race to win Group E. And then Zane Smith.
And listen, I'm glad that Zane finished 13th and won that. That's awesome for Zane. I was so pissed because I had Austin Dillon, who ran top 10 most of the day.
What happened to him? You're kind of close with that Childress team.
No, he faded, right? Something happened right at the end. Something happened, and he ended up, he got caught on the pit stop. He was on pit road when the caution came out, and that put him back of the field. That's what it was.
Well, I think it should be pointed out that in all 6...
I was so pissed about that.
In the 6 group matchups, no favorites won, and 4 of the absolute dogs of the group won 6 of those, and then the other 2 were actually the third favorite in their group, including Bubba Wallace, who was a big number, 310 there in that Group 6. Well, that brings us to our standings, and what we do know is Chase Briscoe is in the clear now, at least for the next 2 races to get to the next round. And we got some guys. I mean, Denny Hamlin's in pretty good shape. Larson, Reddick, Wallace, Byron.
But we talked about it last week. What did SVG have to do?
Run 15th to 20th.
We said if he can stay 20th and just chip away, and he didn't. He was running there. They stayed out long on one run, and they were hoping for a caution. They didn't get it, and to me, that was the wrong move for the guy.
I just don't think at Darlington. When one guy comes in, you better be in the next 2 laps.
Yes, and SVG now 3 points to the good on the cut line, and you got to figure Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Dillon maybe not running well. Josh Berry, terrible start, way far behind, but 3 points with Joey Logano and Alex Bowman and Austin Dillon behind you. It does not look good now for SVG. He can't just 20th place it now. If he had 20, we said he could make it. I don't think he can do that now. He has to run.
And I think you're right. I mean, I think you look, Bowman right now, he's in trouble at 19 back, but mention the fact that Logano was at -3. And I think you have to also look like, okay, let's say you get overtaken. Is there anybody you could overtake? Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is the 2 guys closest to him, he's 6 points behind Chase Elliott, 8 points behind Christopher Bell. Now, you could say he's 9 points behind Austin Cindric, but we're getting ready to go to a track this week that Cindric won this race last year. Well, so, in other words, when you look around him,
it's not like he's going to gain points in these coming up races. And I was going to take it to Austin Dillon. You and I were talking before the show, and I'm going to talk a bunch about Richmond. Austin Dillon going this week to World Wide World Wide Technology Raceway.
Chris Blair, we
Sorry,
apologize
Chris.
for how many times we'll get that wrong this week.
But, Austin Dillon's sitting there 8 points back. You got to look at Austin. You got to look at Joey. Two legit threats with the next two races that now SVG is in trouble.
Well, Austin had a top 10 and
he won Richmond. He had a top 10 at Gateway
here last year.
And Joey Logano is Joey Logano. So I right now SVG I think is in trouble. And
Gateway and Bristol are probably not his friends.
Nope. So this will be his first time at Gateway. Oh, he raced extended race last year. Yeah,
probably last year. But definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge there. Well, let's take a look at this upcoming schedule. We talked about the fact we've got Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's actually in Madison, Illinois. It's called the Enjoy Illinois 300
down the street from Casino Queen.
But it is literally right across the river from St. Louis. So you'll see all these iconic shots of the Gateway Arch in the background. Then we finish up this round of the playoffs in Bristol, the night race, one of everyone's favorites. And then our entire next round of the playoffs will be New Hampshire, Kansas, and the Roval at Charlotte. So we've got a lot of variety in these next 5 weeks.
A lot of variety, and once again, SVG. We were focusing on this. SVG. He needs a miracle at this point now because he gave up too many points in that first round.
Yeah, I think part of it, he's going to have to be looking back there and saying these guys are going to have some trouble. Now, I don't. Barry and Bowman. He may have enough of a buffer on Barry and Bowman. He doesn't on Dillon and Logano for sure. And I think Logano is probably the one that he's got to be most worried about. And this weekend and Bristol are going to be two of his toughest tracks, I think.
I 100% agree with you.
All right, we come back on Gone Racing. It will be time to get into the odds for this week's race at World Wide Technology Raceway. It is a mouthful, but hey, Bill Murray's going to be the Grand Marshal. We'll be right back.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back to the Dude Wipe Studio here at the South Point Hotel Casino. Beautiful Las Vegas. It's Gone Racing with Jeff Motley and
no Dude
Brendan
Wipes are a prop, but we do have a Joey Logano prop this week.
Yeah, we do. In fact, if the show goes off the rails toward the end, those of you listening on Sirius XM can't see this, but we have Brendan's own City Light Shine here with Joey Logano, who won the South Point 400 here a year ago, sitting here. So if we get thirsty, we can just pop this open, and I think we might pick up listeners in the fourth part of our show.
We're professionally unprofessional. We could really get off the rails if we had a little of this. Now, this is the slot promotion bottle that we do this month for in preparation for the South Point 400. And thank you to Penske and Mr. Logano and all them for allowing us to use them on our bottle. And it's a pretty looking bottle.
Well,
I got a bunch of blisters because I just finished labeling them literally an hour and a half ago.
And I like to give you a hard time, but I will tell anybody, if you come down to the South Point, you come to Vegas, try out some of this stuff. My favorite is the blueberry, blueberry mule.
I love the blueberry mule.
Blueberry
fans.
The blueberry's great, but this stuff is really, really good stuff. And
new flavor, strawberry banana.
Strawberry banana. That's interesting.
Bananas a rage right now in the whole whiskey thing.
I like banana stuff. And here's the funny thing about strawberries for me. I love fresh strawberries.
Banana.
But I don't care for strawberry flavored things.
This isn't flavored. This is strawberry concentrate. So it's a strawberry.
Okay.
Comes from Kerr's.
Can I just stick to the blueberry if I want to?
Yes, you can.
Because I'm still...
You and my dad. You can both stick to blueberry.
Right. I'm still...
You will always be guaranteed to have blueberry because Michael Gaughan drinks blueberry, which means blueberry will never be discontinued.
Except for the charity golf tournament this year when you took it off the venue.
Dad wasn't there golfing.
I'm still chapped about,
I will tell Mr. Holbrook.
And I don't think I'll ever see your dad out there golfing.
I will tell Mr. Holbrook that Jeff Motley said, got to have blueberry back on the menu.
Tell Bill I need some blueberry. But
we digress.
Now we are talking about this weekend at
Worldwide Technology.
Is it Gateway now? Have we made enough Worldwide Technology mentions
Gateway.
We can just go to Gateway?
We're going to Gateway. And there's some guys that are really good at Gateway. And one guy in particular that we just talked about being out of the playoffs right now. He is the first guy below the cut line.
He won the inaugural Cup race here too, I believe, didn't he?
And he is 3 races, 3 top 5s, 1 win. That'd be Mr. Logano.
That's a pretty impressive run there to get top 5s in all 3 races there. And interestingly enough, Kyle Busch has 2 top 5s in the 3 races here. And we talked about how, the last couple of years, Kyle Busch has really kind of been off, especially last year, but he still had solid runs here at Gateway. Denny Hamlin, the only other driver who has multiple top 5s, but he hasn't won here. We should talk a little bit about last year's race. One guy who really was the guy to beat last year, and when you look at his stats, you see no wins, you see 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s, but that's because last year he was leading with 2 laps to go and out of nowhere ran out of fuel, and we didn't even think it was a fuel mileage race, and that was Ryan Blaney. And so he would have 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s in his 3 starts. He
led 20 laps, and you and I were talking earlier about who was really dominant.
And he was driving away at the end.
He was driving away. And if you remember, he did have that really random run out of gas that we all shook our heads.
They didn't even think they were low on fuel. He wasn't getting anything from his crew chief saying save.
And his teammate Austin Cindric got himself into the playoffs because of that win. So it worked out very well for Austin Cindric.
So I just think when we're looking at drivers, let's not just look at Ryan Blaney's stats here, because if you throw in last year's race and say, well, heck, if that hasn't happened, I mean, he's certainly going to be one of the key guys
Ifs and
to beat
buts
here.
for candy and nuts. Oh, what a Merry Christmas it would be.
I've heard that many times. I agree, but
I have another one that I can't really say on there. So,
my point is, if you're going to be making a wager, you need to factor in how well they've run on this racetrack.
If you look at the odds, guess what? They factored that in at South Point.
Well, I think you're exactly right. And speaking of which, let's get into those odds to win. And our co-favorites at the top, Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney are plus 400. Denny Hamlin at plus 600. Joey Logano is 10-1. Kyle Larson and William Byron at 12. Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe at 14, Austin Cindric, Brad Keselowski, Josh Berry, and Chase Elliott are all 20-1.
Well, let's talk about that Chase Briscoe number, which first of all, I do like a lot. I mean,
how can you not?
I had Chase Briscoe 14-1. I mean, coming after what he did last week, and Darlington is not like St. Louis, but it's another driver's difficult style track.
I like to say it's a flat Darlington with a better surface.
We've gone on the Martin Truex Jr. angle, right? Martin Truex Jr. 6th and 5th in the 2 races at Gateway when he ran them. So I'm looking at that and going, why?
You going to take it this week since we neither one of us had the guts to pull the trigger on it last week?
I don't know if I'm going to pick it because he did just win. So I think he may be kind of going, okay. And if I go back to Richmond, kind of my Richmond theory, he didn't run great at Richmond this year. So I'm going to say, all right, maybe I take a break on him, but I still like that number. The other one I like a lot is double-digit Joey Logano. I mean, 3 top 5s in 3 races, and you're giving me 10-1 on a guy who won once and has 3 top 5s, and it's the playoffs. And yeah, he didn't do great last weekend, but I do love Joey Logano in the playoffs, and I do like him at 10-1.
Well, we sound a little bit like an echo in here because I think those are the 2 probably that jump out to me, and maybe the other one.
Austin Cindric 20-1. I mean,
Austin Cindric 20-1 having won. And look again. And we talked about this off the air. You can say that, Cindric kind of lucked into it because Blaney ran out of gas.
You used to always say that, and I used to yell at you every time.
But you have to be there.
Thank you.
Well, but I also defended Ryan Blaney back in the year when Jimmy Johnson and Truex took each other out in the first race at the Roval. And everybody's like, well, yeah, but
had to be there.
He had to be there. And Cindric had to be there. And you said he ran well in the 2 stages last year, too.
Cindric finished 5th at Richmond this year, just a few weeks ago. So Cindric ran well at a few weeks ago. Cindric, I think that's and he ran 12th this last weekend at Darlington. So I think Cindric is also one to think about with this. That's a good number on Cindric.
The other guy, and I know you and I have brought this guy's name up almost every week, wondering when is it going to click again. Kyle Larson sitting there at 12-1. And I know this hasn't necessarily been his best racetrack, but at some point, does that switch get flipped?
Kyle Larson, to me, was one of the greatest race car drivers in the world right now, and he's just not performing like it. So I don't know. But if you look, Hendrick as a whole is maybe knocked a step down. So it is the playoffs, and Hendrick knows how to get it done. But I'm on the wait and see right now. I'm off the Hendrick bandwagon until I see them start performing like Hendrick Motorsports.
That's the one that just has got me perplexed.
Me too.
All right, let's take a look at our longer odds here. Chris Buescher comes in at 25-1. Then we got a whole slew of drivers at 30-1. Ross Chastain, Carson Hocevar, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, and Bubba Wallace are all 30. Alex Bowman and Ty Gibbs at 40-1. Ryan Preece is 60. And those 2 legacy cars, Eric Jones, John Hunter Nemechek, both at 100-1. And our field bet, which includes a playoff driver in Shane Van Gisbergen, at 30 to 1.
That wouldn't be the reason I would bet the field if it was. But, I'm going to look at this and say, hold on, Austin Dillon, what did he just do at Richmond a few weeks ago? What track is the most similar, if anything, would be something like a Richmond?
Well, Iowa would be number one for me, similar to Richmond.
But then
this one in Phoenix are close.
Similar to Gateway. Phoenix is the closest. Richmond is second closest. Austin Dillon coming off that great run there. Austin Dillon was running well until he got caught down. Austin running better right now. I kind of, and he ran well here. He finished 8th here last year. He's got a great stats at this place. He's run 3 races. He got, like we said, 2 top 10s in there, or 1 top 10, in there. So I kind of like that Austin Dillon at 30 to 1 if I'm looking for a deep long shot, but I'm not betting it.
Well, and the other guy that I look in there, and he's also at 30 to 1, and you and I talked about him earlier in the show, Bubba Wallace. I mean, I expect Bubba to go have a solid run. Now,
look, I don't even care what Bubba's stats say. Bubba is running better right now than he's run anywhere in his career. He is just outrunning his position. So I like Bubba no matter what right now.
Yeah, I think it's kind of throw some of the old stats out the window. We've also done that somewhat with Briscoe, moving over here to Gibbs and seeing what he can do there. All right, let's move along to our top 3s here. Starting off with our top 3s, and no big surprise that the 2 guys who are at the top, Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell, are both at plus 140. Denny Hamlin, 180. Kyle Larson, 250. Joey Logano, 275. Chase Briscoe, 280. William Byron, 350. Tyler Reddick, 380. Austin Cindric, 450. Chase Elliott, 500. Kyle Busch, 600. Josh Berry, Bubba Wallace, and Brad Keselowski at 700. Ross Chastain and Chris Buescher at 850. Carson Hocevar is 10 to 1. Ty Gibbs, 11. Austin Dillon and Alex Bowman at 12 to 1.
Let's look at the same guys we talked about, but to me, the most exciting, Austin Cindric right there at 450. Tyler Reddick at 380. Joey Logano, 275 is still great. And I'll go down to that Austin Dillon, still 12 to 1 for a top 3. I don't dislike any of those with how well he's been running.
And another guy who did not run a full, really, it seemed like a full series last year, certainly was not at the level last year that he's been at this year, who had a top 10 here in this race last year, Carson Hocevar. And he had a top 10 last year. He had a good run last week at Darlington. 10 to 1's a pretty good number, I think, on Hocevar.
It's just too inconsistent for me to pick Hocevar to put my money on him. When he shows up great, and he pays out, he cashes out big tickets, but you just don't know what's going to show up.
And you never know who's going to get mad at him.
And I'm looking for more consistency. Right now, Cindric at 450, Tyler Reddick at 380, Dillon 12 to 1. Those give you good returns. Even Logano 275. That's a solid return to me for that finish.
All right, let's take a look at our longer shots here for top 3s. Ryan Preece is 15 to 1. Eric Jones 18. Justin Haley, John Hunter Nemechek at 28. Michael McDowell and Daniel Suarez are 30 to 1. AJ Allmendinger at 40. Shane Van Gisbergen and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 50. Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, and Noah Gragson at 70. Cole Custer is at 80. I think, I don't know. I can't even read the thing through the, I'm looking through the
Ty Dillon,
thing here.
Ty Dillon 150. Riley Herbst 250.
Cody Ware is not, I think it's all, the numbers are off a little bit. But
right.
Anyway, it's a lot of guys with a lot of big numbers that I don't think we're going to have to really worry about.
I just look at this side. The only one on the second page here, I'm interested in maybe one, maybe 2 names. Preece, John Hunter, Eric Jones. Those 3 guys are the 3 that I would just kind of look at and say they intrigue me here. But I don't know about me putting my money on Michael McDowell. Just hasn't been consistent enough. So I like those. Maybe if the legacy cars have another good run, but it's tough for me to like anything on this.
It's almost unfair to Eric Jones that last week he was 17 to 1 at a track that he had won on a couple of times and had strong runs, and he doesn't really have the same numbers at World Wide Technology here, but yet they're got him up there at 18 to 1. They
just doesn't have the stats for it. Where last week we know his stat, we bragged about his stats going into the Southern 500. He'd won it before. He'd done amazing before, so that was a purpose of it. But now it's Legacy Motor Club. Are they going to be good enough?
Well, and I think there's certainly a lot of confidence right now around that Legacy Motor Club team. And I think when you can take that confidence level, then you got a chance.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. Okay, we'll be back on Gone Racing. We'll get into the driver head-to-heads, and we'll start our favorites, the group matchups for this weekend.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching? This total has really crashed. without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back into Gone Racing. Dude Wipe Studio here at the South Point Studio. We've got to make sure we get our...
Call it the Joey Logano Studio this week because we got Joey Logano here with us.
We got Joey Logano and our City Light Shine bottles.
I like how he does that for me, so I don't even have to do it.
See, I can hold it right up there to the camera for those that are subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you're only listening on SiriusXM, then go subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can see our smiling faces.
That made me a reason to keep on SiriusXM.
Stay on SiriusXM.
No, I'm just saying.
That probably just cost us some subscriptions right there, but oh well, that's what happens.
Faces for radio. Faces for radio.
Faces for radio. Is that why we're on the radio? Yep. Okay, let's get into our driver head-to-head matchups. And one, and we can tell when we get our betting sheets here that the lines have moved already. Yep. And one that the line has moved on already is Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney. Christopher Bell actually started out as the favorite in that group, but Ryan Blaney's been bet down to -130. Christopher Bell +110. So somebody that the odds makers thought should have been the favorite is not the favorite anymore in that group.
And so that leads me right next door on our screen, if you're on the stream, is Denny Hamlin +130 to Christopher Bell's -150. Look, Denny, I mean, he's great here, finished second last year. And no, Seabell has an average finish of 9 here. So Seabell's very, very good. But you're giving me Denny Hamlin a +130 in a head-to-head. But I like two things here. I like Denny Hamlin +130 against Seabell. I like Denny Hamlin +130 against Ryan Blaney. And I like Joey Logano +130 against Denny Hamlin.
So you like a lot of these +130 Denny Hamlin bets, depending upon which way they go.
I might be on the don't side of one of them, but I could bet a couple of them and be very, very happy. I could get Denny Hamlin to beat Seabell and then Joey Logano to beat Denny Hamlin, and I could win both of those and be very happy.
Well, one I also find interesting here, because we don't normally see these guys in the head-to-heads.
Yes.
Josh Berry getting a +110 to Austin Cindric's -130. I just find it a little intriguing.
You like Josh Berry a lot on these short tracks, though. And
well, he really, really let me down last week. If you count, I don't know how you count Darlington and Gateway are about the same distance. So
yeah, but it's totally different. Totally different.
Berry's run well on these intermediates too. I mean, he won in Vegas.
And I just look at this and say, Josh Berry, after last week's letdown, what happens to them? Do they have it in the tank to come back? So I don't know if I really like that +110 down there on Josh. I'm pretty high on Austin Cindric this week too. So
yeah,
I don't like it.
I honestly don't really see anything in the driver head-to-heads that entices me.
But I just took a deep breath when I looked at Group A.
Oh, speaking of Group A, let's get into our group matchups.
Is that a typo? Hold on, we need to talk. The pick crew, the odds have changed, but this a typo?
Well, we're going to do the odds in the way they are now,
yes,
as opposed to just the way they are on the screen. So if you're listening on SiriusXM, you're getting the actual exact odds now. If you're watching on the screen, you'll see the order's a little bit different because they have changed, because a lot of people don't agree with the way the odds have been set. So right now, Ryan Blaney is the favorite in Group A at +200. Christopher Bell is +230. Then Denny Hamlin at +270. And that guy who has 3 top 5s in 3 races here, Joey Logano, +450.
Look, I understand that you're talking about a guy that has not run. He's not setting the world on fire at the very moment. But Joey Logano, we've talked about this in the playoffs. Joey's the reigning champion for a reason. Joey Logano's had 3 top 5, three races, 3 top 5s, guys, not top 10s. Average finish of 3. That is Joey Logano's average in 3 races.
And how many of those years do we actually go? Well, actually, this is the first time it's been the playoffs. And
first, third, and fifth.
Well, I think what's remarkable about Joey is that Joey has run well in these races at Gateway at times a year when we don't really expect Joey to run well.
So
now we're moving into Joey Logano time.
And I 450. I mean, yeah, it's against Christopher Bell and Blaney and Denny, and sure, I don't like really going against those guys, but you're giving me the reigning champion at 450. I got to put something on that, Jeff.
I will say this. If they were looking for enticement,
they've enticed me.
Enticement they've got.
They have enticed me.
I'm just trying to go break your record from last year at this point. So maybe I should just be beating all the big ones.
He's just going to hit minus 110s for the rest of the year. Just try to beat me.
Well, I'm not going to gain enough on you to do that. Now I'm not there. I need to, but I don't think I want to go the Logano route. But I trust me, I am intrigued.
I dig it.
I'm very intrigued.
I dig it.
All right, let's move along to our Group B here, where our co-favorites are Hendrick teammates Kyle Larson and William Byron at both plus 250. Tyler Reddick is plus 285. And our main man, Chase Briscoe, who is the new just cashing tickets guy, is once again the underdog in a group at plus 290.
Look, it's really tough for me to go against Chase Briscoe anywhere right now. I mean, Chase Briscoe is on fire. The only other one I might like is maybe Tyler Reddick, but the two Hendrick cars, they have honestly faded quite a bit right now. So I'm a little soft on the two Hendrick cars at the top. I like the two bottoms. And if you're telling me Briscoe or Reddick, look, Briscoe, I know he hasn't run well here, but he's on fire. Tyler Reddick has run well here. So maybe I like Tyler Reddick just a hair more. He's got the one top 5 and 3 starts. So maybe I like him a bit more. But I do like the two dogs, both of these guys on the bottom of this rung, I do like.
Well, as I have said many times about Chase Briscoe, I pretty much throw out all the previous stats, with the exception of if it's a second trip there this year, and I might look at what he's done this year, because I think Chase Briscoe's in the best car he's ever been. He is driving the best he's ever driven. He's comfortable with his crew chief now, every part of his team. I know that I missed on Chase Briscoe a couple weeks ago, but Chase Briscoe, if I bet him every week, I'd be making a lot of money right now. And so, to me, this is Chase Briscoe until somebody steps up consistently and says they can't argue that. Chase Briscoe.
I can't argue that with you.
I love him there at that plus 290 without a doubt. All right, let's move along to Group C. We have an overwhelming favorite in Group C, and it's Austin Cindric at plus 225, and that's going head up against Brad Keselowski, Josh Berry, and Chase Elliott, all at plus 285.
Yeah, Keselowski, I think a lot of wind got taken out of those sails. Missing the playoffs the way, with all three teams.
He did have a pretty good run here last year, though.
He did have a good run here. I just don't feel a lot of gusto from Brad right now. Josh Berry, I don't. To me, I've already told you I'm high on Cindric, but I'm looking at Group C, and you're giving me a Chase Elliott, who was your regular season, the points leader. Yeah, no, William Byron won the points. Chase Elliott was second.
But Chase Elliott was by far the most consistent driver until the last few weeks of the regular season.
So, I mean, maybe I like Chase Elliott 285 just because but all them Hendrick cars are a little frightening to me right now. I'd go Austin Cindric or Chase Elliott in this one. I think it's a two-man group. Pick between those two.
Well, I think if you get it down between Chase Elliott and Austin Cindric, it would make it easy to want to go Chase Elliott just because the odds there's a bigger return there. I just look at Austin Cindric and I say, you know what? This kid's going into this race feeling really good about himself. He also knows that he's not that far from the cut line. He knows this, and neither's Chase Elliott, don't get me wrong. But the Fords seem to have been pretty strong here. I mean, clearly we saw what Blaney did last year. We saw Cindric win the race.
Penske cars were dominating last year.
We know Keselowski ran well here, and we know how well Logano has run here. I just think that this is like a Penske car track, and I know it's only plus 225 to me, but I really like Austin Cindric here because
so do I.
What's our old buddy Uncle Brent like to say? It's all about cashing tickets, right? And I think Austin Cindric has the best chance to cash a ticket here. So
I don't disagree.
I like Cindric at plus 225. All right, let's move along to Group D, where a guy who did not start out as the favorite in this group has now moved into the favorite role here, and that's Kyle Busch at plus 240. Then Ross Chastain and Carson Hocevar are plus 270. And Austin Dillon is the long shot here. A guy with a top 10 at this track last year at plus 295.
I like the Kyle Busch and the Austin Dillon. I like them both. I'm bummed they're in the group against each other because I actually would have probably taken each of them in a separate group with some of the similar like names. So I really do like Dillon and Busch. Kyle had a good run last week. Austin ran good, has been running better. I don't know. Just Ross and Carson are kind of sitting in that middle. Ross was good at Darlington too. So I don't know. This group to me, I'm going to put the X on because I can tell you I kind of like Ross was running so good at Darlington. He still had a top 15 finish. Hocevar showed up last week, had a top 10 finish. Kyle Busch had a top 10 finish. Austin Dillon running good. This is my X.
I feel like I should have just recorded what you said and then put it over here and just hit the play button because I really feel the same way. I really, Chastain's a guy that, Chastain puts it together. He can come out and win this race.
Absolutely.
Right? We know he can do that. Hocevar, like you talked about how well he did last week, and the fact that he ran top 10 in this race last year, when he was not doing quite as well as he's been doing this year. Dylan, to me, when you get to the RCR cars, Dylan should have the best run every week because that's where they should be putting most of their focus and most of their attention.
And he's in the playoffs, and you look at that and say, okay, but I just.
So yeah, I'm pretty much on the throw up the X, I believe on that group as well. So I think you and I are in this.
The next one, I think we're going to say the same thing about.
That we're going to throw up an X?
No, I think we're going to agree.
I'm not throwing up an X.
I think we're going to agree on the next one.
So we probably are. So in Group E, our favorite here is Bubba Wallace at plus 235. Then Ryan Preece and Ty Gibbs are both plus 275, and Alex Bowman at plus 290.
I'm sorry, who did I start the show saying is one of the top 2 or 3 for me in the championship?
Bubba.
And you're going to give me Bubba Wallace in Group E. Look, I know Bowman's in the playoffs, but he's your weak guy of the year. And Ty Gibbs, I've been high on all season long. But you're giving me Bubba Wallace in Group E right now. Bubba Wallace is not a Group E driver. He has not been a Group E driver 3/4 of this year. And you're giving me that right there. I am Bubba Wallace plus 235 all day long and twice on Sunday.
And you know what's shocking, I guess, somewhat to me in this group is that when
playoff guys?
Well, you got 2 playoff guys, but we also look at this group, and whenever this group's odds opened, Bubba wasn't the favorite. Preece was the favorite in this group when the odds opened. So I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm so totally with you. I mean, Bubba Wallace, if he went out and he won this race, would not surprise me in the least. You put Bubba Wallace in Group E. I mean, I'm as committed to Bubba here Bowman, in Group E.
Average finish 22.3, 0 top 10s in 3 races. That's the only other guy I talk about. And I think Bubba. I think this is Bubba's to take from Group E.
No one's more desperate than this group than Bowman, but I agree with you on Bubba. Okay, we'll be back on Gone Racing. We'll have our final segment, tell you how we did last week, and give you our picks for Gateway.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
Welcome back into the Dude Wipe studio here at the South Point Hotel Casino in beautiful Las Vegas. It's Jeff Motley.
I was told to get that yawn out of here before
I came back on. Yawning?
I yawned.
Are you bored with the show this week?
She was just yelling at. I'm tired. My hands hurt.
Well, are your hands yawning?
No, but I'm tired. I'm just tired. I have blisters everywhere. I'm tired. I'm tired of bottling this bottle, and I'm tired.
Is that it? Eddie Murphy? I'm tired. No, it's Chris Rock. Tired. You ever heard that? He goes, I'm tired. That's what he would say.
I missed that one.
You never saw that?
No.
I'll tell you that joke later. Maybe when the show is over. You can't repeat all the stuff that Chris Rock does on the on the show here. But
I can't rub my eyes.
I'm sorry that your hand. I guess you have to go get you a, what do they call it? A paraffin wax? Maybe you're up for a paraffin wax. You ever had one of those?
Does anybody watching this right now think I've ever had whatever he just said? Sirius XM, Gone Racin listeners.
Paraffin wax. Somebody will see. Maybe somebody will message.
Wax I have is to get rid of the one eyebrow.
You have one eyebrow?
I have 2 right now. It's recently been waxed.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've known me a long time.
You're going to learn all about a paraffin wax when this show is over.
Oh, God. Okay. Please go to Group F. Please get me out of here.
Okay. Speaking of Group F, that's where we are right now. And our favorite in Group F is AJ Allmendinger, fresh off of that top 5 last week at Darlington at a plus 215. And then Zane Smith and Noah Gregson are plus 285. And our old buddy Shane Van Gisbergen is getting
a Group F appearance.
He's getting no respect. No respect. Well, he is the Rodney Dangerfield of the playoff field right now at plus 300.
They put him in a group, way to go Westgate. You got him in a group. He's Group F. And he is the lone playoff guy in Group F. And he is 300 plus 300. And sadly, I will not be picking. Now, you can say this. This is a track that would be, when I used to race it, we used to shift when we didn't shift. And we shifted. So
was that your homework project? You were going to find out if they shift?
No, they shifted last week at Darlington. These guys shift everywhere now.
So you know they're shifting.
Yes.
Okay.
But it has a little bit of a road course feel with the braking and the shifting and all that. Maybe that goes into SVG's wheelhouse. If I'm trying to give you a reason to pick Group F and pick Shane at 300, sure, I'll try to help you. Otherwise, I can't give you a difference. AJ had a great run. Congratulations. That's one out of the last whatever. And so no, I'm not picking Group F. I can't even break it down for you.
You know, I've had a lot of successes with Group F.
Yes, you have. We both have. We both listen. And Chris Boucher, it was the Ron Flatter Group F, Chris Boucher when we started this show.
And I look at this Group F, and I'll be honest with you. Noah, we love Noah. Noah struggled.
He's
SVG, probably not his kind of track. To me, it's AJ Allmendinger, Zane Smith, because Zane, I mean, he comes last week.
He ran good last week.
He ran well last week. He won his group last week.
Yes, he did.
In fact, he won Group F last week.
Yes, he did.
So 285, Zane Smith.
Take it.
I think.
Bet it.
I didn't say I'm going to bet it.
Do it.
But I'm just saying that it's.
Do it.
I'm glad we're all about it. It's celebrity impressions in this stage.
Which one were we allowed to turn, left or right?
Was that Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, that would be Ben Stiller. Do it.
Really? That's Ben Stiller? That's not Arnold Schwarzenegger and or Clint Eastwood. Go ahead, make my day, or one of those.
That's Ben Stiller.
Go ahead, punk, make my day. Yeah, whatever. Okay, our last group of odds for the day are our manufacturer picks. Toyota is plus 140.
I think DraftKings has this way off.
Ford plus 180 and Chevy at plus 200. And might I point out that 2 of the 3 races here have been won by Fords.
Not just won by Fords.
Fords have kind of dominated the races here, and they're not the favorite at plus 180.
Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric. I mean, the way they have run at this place, just those 3 Fords alone should be the 140 favorite. So to me, this is 180 all day long Ford. I love the 180 on Ford. I think it's a great number. Chevy has, but now I'll talk out of both sides of my mouth here. Chevy at plus 200, also with all them Hendrick cars, even though I'm poo-pooing them at the moment, it is still Team Hendrick. And when they show up, they will show up in mass. So I don't dislike the plus 200, but Ford at plus 180 that's your gift right there.
Well, it is very rare that we see Chevy as the long shot.
Yes.
In the manufacturer, but I'm with you. I mean, I really would probably have flip-flop Ford and Toyota's numbers here. So I love Ford here at plus 180. All right, let's take a quick look at our championship odds. No more double digits on Chase Briscoe.
You missed your boat on Chase Briscoe.
But he's still plus 800.
Which I still like. But there's still 2 drivers out there that I'm pleading with you. I'm begging Jeff Motley, begging people.
I bet I can guess who both of them are.
You absolutely don't even need to guess. You can say them for me.
Our defending champion is 15-1, and Bubba Wallace is 30-1. And if those jump off the page at me without you having to say them, they should jump off at everybody.
I'm telling you, Bubba Wallace is in a championship form right now. I love him at 30-1. That is the best hedge you could ever have. And Joey Logano, he is 15-1 still. I know it's that you say he wasn't running well last year before the final round of the playoffs.
He's never running well going into the playoffs.
So I think that those 2 right there are absolute your hedges of all hedges. Please jump on those. Ross and Joey right there. Take them. Or not, sorry, Bubba and Joey. Take those.
Yeah, I love those. And look, and still Chase Briscoe at plus 800, I think he's still a value.
Still good bet.
I'm still shocked by that. All right, let's take a look at how we did last week. And let me tell you, this is a great part of the show for us this week because we all killed it last week.
Yes, we did.
We had a great week. I was fortunate enough to get 4 out of 5 right. I had the Hamlin over Blaney. I had Hamlin, which was really lucky to get him to win Group A with a 7th place finish, I might add. Also, Chase Briscoe in Group B and Bubba Wallace in Group C. So 4 out of 5 gave me 12.85 units.
Hell of a week.
Brendan, you had a hell of a week, too. You had 3 correct. Now,
God, I had 4, too.
Now, we also knew going in that you and I had picked 4 of the same 5, which the one I missed was also one that you missed. But you did get the Hamlin over Blaney, the Briscoe, and the Bubba in their groups as well for plus 795. Now, our pit crew only got 1 right last week.
But it was the one that mattered.
That one was a 17-1 payout on Eric Jones getting a top 3. So I know they were praying that John Hunter Nemechek did not run down and try to pass his teammate. And I thought for a minute there, Eric Jones was going to have a shot to go for the win. I mean, he was running well enough, but he kind of got bottled up behind Tyler Reddick. But do we have our standings up? I'd love to see our standings right now.
Listen, here's what I want. I want you to find any other sports betting show that has three people that have these numbers on a return on what you can get if you followed them all season long.
I need my buddy JT the Brick. You see, JT always likes to talk about people that do these gambling shows, but they don't put their numbers out there.
And they talk
and I appreciate that. I agree with JT on that, but we put our numbers out there.
Every week we say good or bad, and we've had people not be on this show because they didn't want to pick on Thursdays like we do and said it was bad for their record. Well, guess what? It didn't matter to us.
Now, you and I had one of our best weeks, and we got to put some picks in on Sunday, but it is
that
what
one
it
week,
is.
yes.
But anyway, the season totals, I'm at 82.35 right now. You are at 44.25, and our pit crew with that huge bump last week gets up to 24.60. Brendan, do you realize as long as you get one pick right the rest of the year, you have clinched being above the Mendoza line? I didn't do the math, but now that you tell me that, yes, that makes sense. Even though you are way below your own personal Mendoza line.
We still got races left. I can still hit my Mendoza line.
Well, you're going to have to take a big old flyer on somebody. That's going to have to pull off an upset.
10 a week, baby. 10 a week. Give me 7 to 10 a week.
And you're expecting me to go -5 every week?
I'm just saying. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm saying me. 7 to 10 a week, and I hit my Mendoza line.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right, so let's get into this week's picks and our pit crew. Even though they had the great win last week, they still are trailing you significantly there, so we will be doing their picks first. They are going all groups.
All right.
No 17-1 top 3 picks, no 18-1 on Eric Jones this week. They are going Joey Logano, though, with that big +450 in Group A, Tyler Reddick in Group B, Austin Cindric in Group C, Kyle Busch in Group D, and they believe in the man from down under.
SVG. They're going
SVG at +300 in Group F.
Bring me a Vegemite sandwich.
Who? Vegemite? Is that what they eat down there?
He went men down under, and then he didn't even know the rest of the song.
No. Is that the song for like Men at Work or something?
Yes, it is.
Clearly, I don't know all the lyrics to the songs down there.
He is losing on pop culture trivia pursuit.
I did find the best beer I'd ever had in my life in New Zealand, in Dunedin, New Zealand, by the way, called Speight's.
First of all, 1, that's not Australia. 2, he is from New Zealand, so it does work. Because
that's why I was referring to New Zealand, where he's from.
Just make sure I don't want him calling and yelling.
No, I know he's from New Zealand. That's why I said it in Dunedin, New Zealand. You ever been there? You ever been to New Zealand?
I've never been.
It's a beautiful place. The people are great too, by the way.
It's where they filmed The Hobbit, where I guess I'm tall enough to belong. Let's go to my picks. God, we got to get out of the show before we're killed.
Okay.
I got starting with a top 3. I am going with Austin Cindric, that top 3. I'm putting some money where my mouth is. +450. Come on, Cindric. Come on, Penske Fords. Do it for me. And then I got one head-to-head. I'm doing the Denny versus Christopher Bell at +130. It's just big enough return. I was going to do the Logano versus Denny pick, but I'd rather take Logano Group A at +450. There's a little more return for me. So I got the Logano in Group A. Then I've got a Group B pick with Tyler Reddick at 285. I'm going to go head-to-head versus you. And then I've got Bubba Wallace Group E, that +235. Bubba is in, I'm believing in Bubba's championship form right now. I got to give it to Bubba.
All righty. Well, I know you won't be shocked at a couple of my picks.
I probably will not.
And I believe you and I have 2 of the same
again.
picks.
Damn it.
2. Last week it was 4. It's only 2 this week. I'm going with you on that head-to-head. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, +130. I do like Denny there. And then we're going to go mano a mano in Group B, where I am going to stick with Chase Briscoe, and I know you're not surprised there. Chase Briscoe there at +290. I'm going Austin Cindric, Group C, even though he's the favorite. And look, no surprise here in Group E. You and I are both in lockstep there, going with Bubba Wallace in Group E. And then I like that Ford at +180 to win the race.
I had that as my 6th alternate pick. It was right there if I couldn't find something I liked. So that was a good number.
Yeah, that's a good number there. So anyway, we got about 45 seconds left in the show this week. Gateway, there's always fun stuff out there. We talked about Bill Murray, but Blair's always blowing up the backstretch out there before the race starts, and they got all these.
He's about the most humpy guy we got left. So it's awesome. It's going to be a great race. The track puts on a great show. Really tight 1 and 2. Big flat 3 and 4. Lots of action. Driver style track. So fans are in for a good day. Night race, I believe, going to be under the lights again.
I don't think it's that late, is it?
I thought it was. I thought it was going to end under the lights.
I'm not even sure what time the race starts, but I'm Sure.
Hey, listen, the hard part for us is remember what the next race is when we're going to end this show.
Well, that one is under the lights. That one I know 100% for sure is under the lights. So,
I'm trying to look up what race it is.
well, we're going to Bristol after that.
There you
But
go.
anyway.
That's right.
All right, that'll do it for us this week. Tune in this weekend. Check out the race this weekend at World Wide Technology. We'll be back next week. We'll break it down and tell you all things about Bristol.